Hello and welcome to today's daily news report where I cover all the biggest stories affecting your wallet, life, and money today. You watch this channel each day because I keep you in the loop on what's really going on in Washington, D.C. with President Biden and the U.S. economy, so let's jump right in. Former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger told world leaders at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland yesterday that the war in Ukraine needs to stop. He said the war is over and Ukraine will never take back the territory Russia has conquered with all of the money in the world. He also cautioned countries from bleeding themselves dry to financially help Ukraine fight a war they don't intend to end. He also stressed that continuing down this road could lead to World War III. He said no one is taking out Putin and their economy and dollar are strong. They just need to be left alone. Now, this was not a message that people expected, and it wasn't well received, but it was the message that he decided to deliver to world leaders. So I'm curious, do you think Henry Kissinger is right and that they should end the war because Ukraine will never get back that territory or have the money to rebuild? Or should they continue with the world feeding them excessive amounts of money in order to try to beat Putin? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm always curious to know what you guys think. New details coming from the Durham trial show that the Department of Justice fed lies to the FBI about the Trump-Russia hoax story. They failed to reveal their anonymous source, but now we know that it was Hillary Clinton and her campaign team. So they fed false documents and false stories from the Department of Justice over to the FBI, and then the FBI revealed false documents and false stories to the media that then went crazy with a story that was completely fabricated. It's also been learned that Hillary's lawyer pretended not to be working for Clinton in order to make his story seem more real to the FBI. More details will be coming out, but this is all really fascinating stuff to me. Former Obama Treasury counselor Steve Ratner said in an interview, the Federal Reserve has never been able to raise rates without causing a recession. So he said they either need to ease up on the interest rate hike or they will crash the U.S. economy and the stock market further. Regarding the stimulus package, Democrats hope to pass. Aides from Joe Manchin's office and Chuck Schumer's office said the next stimulus bill is still on the table, but the Russia war has slowed everything down. So I don't have any more details beyond that, but according to them, it's still happening, but it's been slowed down because of Russia. Now that one we can believe, right? The Putin slowdown, right? But the Putin price hike or the Putin gas tax, I don't know if I can buy those. All right, now the Department of Justice has finally issued a warning to the world not to come to the United States southern border. There were no threats about not being helped if you're able to get in, or we're not giving out cell phones or free food or a place to live. None of that was mentioned. So basically, the warning is toothless, but it was the first of its kind. So maybe we're moving in the right direction. At the same time, the Department of Homeland Security mentioned they believe there are at a minimum 60,000 illegal aliens waiting at the U.S. border just on the other side of El Paso, Texas, and they're just waiting for the right opportunity to rush the border. Representative James Comer has sent out multiple letters to banks asking for more information regarding Hunter Biden. Republicans are now looking forward to taking back the House in November because if they do, they would gain more power to investigate this serious issue. Comer stated that the investigation will focus on if President Biden himself participated in his son's business dealings. However, many Republicans argued there's already enough evidence linking Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and Jim Biden to these foreign business opportunities, while Democrats say this is a made-up story. President Joe Biden's approval rating has once again dropped to an all-time low. In a Reuters poll released yesterday, Biden's approval had dropped all the way down to 36%. The poll actually consisted of more Democrats being questioned than Republicans, and still the outcome was people largely are not happy with President Biden. It will be hard for him to make any kind of comeback unless the price of food or gas goes down at the pump. These record-breaking highs are, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said it's never in history where people go to the gas station and they're mad at the president every single time they fill up their tank. So it's going to be very hard for Biden to make up for that lost ground with his reputation and popularity. The company Snapchat announced it isn't a good time for advertisers and ad revenue. Well, stock investors did not like his pessimistic outlook, and the stock dropped by 43% in one day. Ouch. Don't say that if you're a CEO. Now, one of the world's top investors, Ray Dalio, who you have to have $5 billion in order to get into his hedge fund, said people need to seriously be looking at gold and Bitcoin to hedge against this crazy inflation. Now, this is the first time he's openly promoted Bitcoin, though he has openly promoted gold in the past. For those of you with some extra money, this is top-level advice that you might want to consider. For those of you who don't, my best advice from somebody who's been doing financial planning for almost 17 years now is make sure that you have food storage. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have food and water, what do you really have? So start with the basics and then move up with any discretionary income you might have. North Korea is famous for their failed missile launches. However, they started testing new intercontinental ballistic missiles today. One of the missiles flew nearly 500 miles and could have gone further, but they basically stopped it from going any further. The United States was on high alert for Biden's safety due to his trip in South Korea lining up with these missile tests. Also, China was sending military airplanes as close to where Biden was as they felt comfortable. So it looks like from two different Asian countries, they were trying to let President Biden know, we don't like you in our neck of the woods. So anyway, the message was received and the military was on high alert. Now, worry is mounting about Kim Jong-un as he has previously voiced his desire to have nuclear weapons. South Korea has stated they believe he is already testing nuclear devices. That's not good. Given how badly some tests have gone in the past, it's not out of reason that a nuclear test could backfire on North Korea and hurt the rest of the world. So it is a big safety concern. Now, yesterday, the heart of the nation was attacked when 18-year-old Salvador Ramos opened fire at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. Border Patrol agents acted as quickly as they could until one fatally shot and killed the man. The acting agent suffered a gunshot wound to his leg, but he is expected to recover. My heart goes out to everybody affected in the community. 19 children and their 2 school teachers were killed in this horrific crime. Following the shooting, former FBI investigator Bill Daly recommended that schools should increase security by having armed individuals guarding the locations, making the locations only accessible to trusted individuals, and having automatic door locks to make it harder for intruders to enter during school hours. He argued that if these security measures are implemented, that it would change things. And then he pointed out, why is it that government buildings and data centers can have this protection, but our children at schools cannot? It's a great question. Matthew McConaughey, an actor and potential future Texas governor, commented by saying, once again, we have tragically proven that we are failing to be responsible for the rights our freedoms grant us. This point is true, as this is the second time within 2 weeks that an armed domestic terrorist was able to legally purchase a weapon and then carry out a mass shooting. I believe there has to be a way for us to include mental evaluations or stronger background checks. I personally own guns. Everyone I know owns guns. But how do you keep it out of the hands of people that wish to do ill or evil to other people? That is the question that the government is going to have to wrestle with. Senator Chuck Schumer said not to expect any changes in gun control anytime soon. Last night, while he was emotionally charged, he had planned to force a gun bill vote today, but this morning he woke up and said, if he doesn't remove the emotion and do this right, any gun law change will fail in Congress. So he wants to give it more time and thought. Now, Democrats in Hollywood have blamed Republicans for this school shooting, while a dad from the Parkland shooting a few years ago blamed the entire U.S. government. He said, "You print billions of dollars for other countries, but you don't protect our kids here at home. Your mixed up priorities are to blame. Take care of our kids, armed guards, single point entry, and train the staff." So he felt like it was the government spending all this money on everybody but our own citizens that is the real reason why these mass shootings keep happening. Imagine if all of the military that are in the Middle East or over in Europe right now were instead at home guarding our children and keeping them safe at schools. What a different world we would be living in. Now, movie maker Michael Moore is getting a lot of pushback. He said it's time for the United States to repeal the Second Amendment and remove all guns. Beto O'Rourke, who is running for governor of Texas as a Democrat, crashed the press conference of the shooting yesterday to publicly heckle the current Republican governor and blamed him for the death of the 19 students. Many felt his impassioned plea, but felt it was a tacky way to get attention for his campaign. Now, this is my update for today. As I know more, I will definitely come on and share more with you. Sad news today. I always hate covering those stories, but it is what's in the news. Now, before you go, don't forget, Casey and I are trying to do some good right here in our YouTube community. We're giving away $6,000 in cash to be helpful to those that watch us. 12 of you are going to win $500 in cash. That ends at the end of this month. The winners will be notified using the email that they sign up with. I don't say anything in the comments. Until YouTube can control the spam and the bots, I just don't feel comfortable that you won't get a fake Stephen Gardner tricking you. And so I want to avoid that. Anyway, before you go, I want to remind you that you are amazing. Hug your loved ones and tell them that you love them, because you never know what the news might bring. Hey, I appreciate you being in my community, and I'll see you on the next video.